Hello everybody, my name is Zen and welcome back to more of our Wildstar beta coverage. It's been a few weeks since the last time we've done videos for this. However, since then, they've installed the new interfaces, which is what you're looking at here. So I figured I'd show it off a bit. Now, keep in mind this has no mods installed, so I don't have a single mod installed, and I did before. And the other thing is that this isn't finished yet. They're still kind of working on it and optimizing it. However, it's really good. Like, the unit frames look a lot better, and then so do the bars. The bar is lower on the screen, and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's get some bots out, and let's look at like the target frame. So right now, it's fairly spread apart, and you can move all of this. So like my cast bar is under my actual unit frame, so I don't really have to worry about that, right? So we could probably, move this in like so, and kind of do the same thing with this. Now, what you're seeing under the unit frames is all of the stuff that's nearby my target and nearby me. So under mine, I have my pets, right? So these are my two bots that I have out, but under this one, it would be the targets. So like if I was fighting a group of enemies, the rest of the group would look like they're down here, and I could see their health bars on these extra frames. So that's pretty cool. I like that is there. And once again, because the cast bar is under my actual character frame, I don't really have to worry about where I'm placing these. But this all boils down to good UI design, and we've talked about this back in my UI video that I did for the Star Wars guide. Basically, it's a philosophy. You want as few possible spots to be looking on your screen at any given time, and that makes up a good interface. It's how you get a good interface. And let's pull these apart, and I'll show you what I mean. So right now, you see that I'm kind of only looking two spots on my screen, like right here and right here. Like, yeah, I've got some quests over here, and the Datacron's there, but, I could close that if I wanted to. For the most part, though, I'm looking right here, and there's a few bars here, and I can actually take this stuff off. I'll tell you why in a second with that, but we can even move this down here and do that kind of thing. Oop, moving the wrong frame, but I want it to line up. There we go. I want to move this one, and then we can like scale it down a bit, and put it in the center, and then that gives you an even better idea of how many little spots I'm actually looking. I'm gonna move this up here because I kind of like it up in the corner. But it's a philosophy of design, and they've done it very, very well. Now, keep in mind, none of this is completely finished yet, but there are a couple things to point out that they did add in the interface that weren't here previously. The first is a mount button, so by default it is Z, so I can hit Z and I mount up, which is pretty cool, and you can actually change what mount you're having by going into that, and I think it's /mounts? Maybe not, I don't think so. It's something like that give you a mount window that you can sort through and customize and everything, but for the most part you have the mount button there. The other thing that they've added is one for med packs, and you can switch between them if you have different ones here, and then by default it is X to use a med pack, which is it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a good idea rather than having to bind it to one of these other keys, right? So you have that. Most other classes have their own new bar here for their resource management. I don't think the engineers one is either done, or I think they may keep this one. I don't know. I haven't kept up to date on what they're doing with that, but underneath all this you see your XP bar, your path XP bar, so you can see what level your path is. It's pretty cool. You can even click on it and it'll bring this up. Obviously this is kind of broken at the moment. It's beta, it's not done. There's also several other things you can click on, here to do that. There isn't a costumes button. You actually have to do /costumes to bring this up, which brings up your costumes window, and you can kind of go through and edit that. Before, it was actually on the character screen, and it's not there anymore. So that's kind of the way that you have to go about doing that. Although you can go and select your costume from the character screen, but you can't edit it there, at least at the moment. You also have a different inventory. It's kind of the same idea that they had last time, except it doesn't, scale size-wise, but based on how many slots you have. And there's a scroll bar for it, which is that's new. That wasn't there before. There was no scroll bar. As far as the pop-outs are concerned, it's kind of the same thing as it was previously. And then the last thing is they've added all of the icons that were up in the top right corner are now down in the bottom left. There's also a clock. There wasn't a clock before. And you have all of the typical stuff here, plus your giant, menu that you can scroll through. So there's a lot of cool stuff. It's new. It's exciting. I really like it. You can also edit everything from this window here. So you can do scale, tooltip delay. I mean, there's everything. Sticky targeting. There's a lot of stuff that you could do. And there's also other things you could do here. So say I only wanted the clock on while in combat. You see it disappears. So there's some cool things you could do with that. So, I want this to be always on, but maybe my I don't know, mount button. No, that's too weird of a one. How about live text? You can change this, but I can't find my target frame, my actual unit frame. But you could change it so that way it's only on in combat, which is pretty cool. And I like that. And there's a lot of different things you could do there, and you can edit a lot of this stuff in the UI editor itself. So there's quite a bit of things you could do. There's going to be plenty of mods for it. And coming up to launch, as we get closer, I'll be doing mod spotlights. So that way you guys can get an idea of what mods you should be using. But with all of that being said, I think that gives you a pretty good idea and a pretty good look of the new pretty interface. I said pretty a lot there, so it's time for me to sign off. We shall see you guys next time.